we back, and today, you know what I'm gonna talk about? Today, I'm gonna talk about what I've actually been doing in real life to make money over these past couple months. So, as you know, I've covered several different topics. You know, I've been passively, I would say, flipping stuff. Like I know the NFL cards are somewhat of a quick mover, although the ones I got, which I'm gonna say for another story time, didn't move fast at all. However, I've been doing that a little bit, but I've been back to Old Faithful. And what is Old Faithful? If you've been following me long enough, or if you new to me and you could just do a quick short videos by oldest on my channel, then you'll see that my true foundation, how I got into multimedia period, is graphic design. That's logos, album covers. Now, as you know, if you've watched those, where I first started, I don't know if y'all have ever heard of rappers like Lil Durk, Chief Keef, French Montana, Meek Mill, Soulja Boy. These are all artists that I've done mixtape covers for in the past. And so that's where I got my start. In the 2012, maybe even 2011, Instagram was that was a time, bro. And what I mean is, this is before they implemented their algorithm, and so everything was shown in a chronological order. So what I think what changed that is that that posted more were able to dominate people's timeline simply because they posted 30, 40 times a day versus a person that posts maybe 2 to 3 times a day. You know, you'd still see their stuff and the cream is still going to rise to the top. However, a person who maybe is posting trash or not quality content was able to dominate your timeline. And I think too, once the money got involved, like once the marketing side of it got involved, they implemented an algorithm where you only see what they think you want to see, right? So even on Facebook, that's why you started to see where you'd have friends that you forgot you had on your friends list because you don't see their stuff anymore. So you actually now have to like and comment on people's things if you want to see their stuff regularly. So anyway, this is also during the time of the death of the conventional music industry, right? So the internet, this is when the internet is really starting to take its toll on the music industry. What I mean, there's no more in-house designers, there's no more in-house producers, none of that type of stuff, because any of us here on the internet can submit a mixtape cover to an artist directly. If it's good enough, the artist is going to see because so many people are going to tag them. And that goes for beats, everything else. So I seen that and I decided I wanted in, and it was successful for me. I took the time, I stayed up. I remember at the time I was working 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. every single day. And I would get off of work at 1, make it home about 1:30, and then from maybe 1:30 to 4 or 5 a.m., I'm up learning Photoshop, learning how to design consistently for like maybe 3, 4, 5 months straight until I was good enough to start charging people. And at that time, the city that I live in, Fort Worth, Texas, we started to have the early stages of what we call a music career, but it ain't what it is today. But we started to have a music scene, and now we've got a lot of brands coming, not just artists and rappers. We got a lot of brands coming who need logos, who need artwork, who need flyers and stuff like that. And I was able to fulfill that. So what I want to talk about today is just that, and what like I said, what I've been doing to make money on the side. So when you start out with graphic design, you're always gonna charge people. You're always gonna undercharge yourself, right? You're gonna undercharge yourself. You're gonna do $25, $30 mixtape covers or graphics or whatever until you start to realize that the time, right? The time that you're putting into it is not it's not conclusive, right? So you putting all this time in for $30, $45. So then that's when you go up to 50, all the way to 100, right? You get up to $100, and then at that point it seems to be worth it. But then you look around and then you see that, wow, there's people getting $200, getting $500 for this same stuff that I'm doing. And so that's what made me realize and kind of open my eyes to the fact that this was a lot bigger than what I even known. And like, I had, at this point, when I realized that, I had the tenure. I'm a fast learner. And what I mean by that is that even if I don't grasp it fast, I'm going to put the time in to learn fast enough. I've always understood that anything that I wanted to do in the long run, even this YouTube journey, it's not overnight success. It's a snowball that you continuously roll and roll. So I had stopped graphic design, right? When my YouTube jumped off, I had stopped because ultimately there's always levels, right? It's levels to everything. And if you're an entrepreneur, or if financial freedom is your goal, then when you think about the biggest word in financial freedom, which actually isn't financial, but it's freedom. When you think about that word, you then think about, okay, how much of my own time do I have to expend doing this, right? And so YouTube is a big upfront time investment, but if you can get it to kind of roll, then it can become more and more passive. So what does that mean? Like, I've been inactive for a long time, right? But I still see the rewards month after month after month over stuff that I've did 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So I knew that would be the case, which is why I went to YouTube. But with YouTube slowing down, that big inactive period kind of killed my channel, slowed down the residuals, and I went back to Old Faithful, right? I'm always kind of flipping here and there, but Old Faithful is graphic design. I can always post a flyer and say, hey, offering this type of design for this price, and I'm always gonna get, even if it's just one, I'm gonna get a bite. And what a bite is, for those of y'all who don't know the slang, a bite is pretty much a customer. So now I want to talk about, for my graphic designers out there, I want to talk about, because I know a big hurdle that I'm still facing and that a lot of people face as well. How do I get clients, right? One method I do is like let's say I do mixtape covers, right? So I go to the big mixtape artists, right, on Instagram. We're talking about Two Raw Designs, all type of people like that. And here's the reality: they're out of, especially if you've done graphic design and you know what these other people charge, they're out of a lot of people's budget. They really are. Like, when you're dealing with that clientele, I ain't gonna lie, you would think, because rap is such a flashy, bling bling, diamonds in my mouth, diamonds in my watch genre, you would think that that genre is the most, that they don't have problems paying for anything. But what you'd find is that that's the opposite. That's probably the brokest demographic of people in the United States. So that lets you also know that rap is all about imaging, right? Rap is about image. So what they're doing is looking rich and actually not having any money. And so once you know that, though, then you'll know that, okay, some of these bigger designers are out of their budget. Maybe I can step in and take some of those. And here's the beauty of it. Like, let's say Two Raw Designs, right? I'm not undercutting him because, he charges, I would say, maybe $200, $300 for a cover. I'm not at $200 and $300 for a cover. I believe I can produce similar quality. I even think I can match the quality, the skill, all of that. But I'm not undercutting him because his price is his price, right? So if he's at 200, let's say, and I'm at 100, then when you see people in their comments saying, hey, check DM, check DM, check DM, what that means is that they are blowing his DMs up about getting artwork. And especially if you see it done recent, that's when you can really get some bites like this. And this is stuff that I've done before. And you message them and you show them your work and you say, hey, I can get you, I can do this, I can do whatever you want. I do mixtape covers. When you do have the famous placements, right? Like when you do have, hey, I did work for this person, that does help add value to you. I'm not gonna lie. But even if you don't have that, if you have a portfolio of good work, then you can see you can get some bites like that. You can get some motion like that. Trust me, I've seen it done. So that's a great way. Now, if you don't have a portfolio, and then this is what I would challenge you to do as a designer. Whatever it is, the type of work that you want to do this. Say, out of this month, there's 4 weeks. This week, I'm going to design a concept cover, because that's what I started. That's how I started. Before I could get popular placements, before I could get famous people, or just people, period, I would go take a song that I like, and I would design the cover for it based on how I viewed the song, right? And I would post it up on my Instagram, and that way you'll have a directory. What it does is it helps you create better artwork than you typically create, because when it feels like work, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm gonna be real with you, it is always going to feel like work. And when it feels like work, your creative juices don't flow as well as if you've been listening to a song. There's no pressure, and you can do exactly what it is you want on this project. And so boom, you take that week and you do that for mixtape covers. Then you say, okay, logos, right? I'm gonna do logos. So I'm gonna take 5 different brands or 7 brands because there's 7 days in a week. I'm gonna take 7 brands and I'm gonna redesign their logo based on. I'm gonna give it the opposite look of what it's supposed to do. So for it just, and this is just to show your range. So take a random realty company and design it like a race car logo, and then take a race car logo and like a famous race car logo and design it like a realty brand. And what this does is not only does it help you get better, but it also, once again, just gives you a portfolio that they can come look at and say, oh, okay, I like this look, I want to do this. Or simply they want to see that this person is capable of executing what it is that they want to do. So that's the main thing. And honestly, like for me, I think I'm going to get into photography a little bit. I know that's going to require a lot of my time, but I also want to get into video editing. I want to do all of that for people. I just want to open all my avenues to make money. And what I'm going to do that is just honestly show people my work, show people what I've done, and take an old marketing tactic called cold calling that a lot of kids today and a lot of people my age aren't familiar with, because my age, I'm 34. When we got on the internet, the world was starting to shift towards the internet. Well, before us, the way to connect to people was literally get a phone book, call everybody in it, right? Just like you see the salespeople going door to door to door to door to get leads. That's how I'm gonna do it. So what you do is you find spots, whether it's Facebook groups or whatever, that people share these type of things, and then you message every single one of those people. And after time, you'll get better at your pitch, you'll get better at closing people, and you'll just get better at business specifically. So that's pretty much what I'm working on right now, outside of getting this YouTube channel back rocking and posting every day, whether it's just my raw thoughts like today, or some days I might have a topic. But either way, man, Rico gang, I love y'all. Let's get it.